So Tugce, Streetbees, how would you explain what it is, please?
Let's start from there, perfect. Streetbees is a natural language processing business. We basically focus on understanding what humans do and why they do that. That could be in relation to food and beverage, it could be in relation to how you are brushing your teeth in the morning when you wake up, or it might be about your voting behavior. Rather than using traditional market research, which is like staged focus groups or like, unnatural surveys, we actually observe what people do in the moment.
And it's fascinating. How many people are in your panel?
We don't call them a panel, just a small note. It's a community, so we have a global community of over 1 million users.
But de facto it is a panel.
Well, the difference between a panel and community is this, right? It's actually real behavior that is in the natural flow of their life.
It's real people panel.
Exactly.
Who are real
you can call that.
Okay. And I think you have people all over the world. How many are there?
There are about 1 million active users. So what that means is...
And then they have a back office, they can log in and check their account. So you collect from these 1 million consumers data about the products which are owned by your customers. They're collecting data through you, and you're paying those 1 million users. But what's the average one user makes roughly? It's
tiny. It's more like a reward. So you actually share moments from your life, and in return, you would get paid like $1. So in a month, you might make like $10 or something. But it feels like, oh my God, I have this app, actually pays me cash. How exciting is that? Because all the other apps are asking for your money, whereas we are paying you,
It's fun.
Share your information, absolutely.
It's fun. And tell us about your customers. You have some big brands behind you?
Absolutely. So we've been very lucky. We've been working with someone like Unilever since the inception of the business. We co-created the platform with them. Today we work with a lot of companies from like, PepsiCo and Vodafone to BBC across different sectors, because in the end of the day, if you are touching consumers, it doesn't matter which sector you're in. You need to understand what people want, what they do, why they do that, and regardless of the sector, we can help them with that.
And the idea is super innovative. I don't think that Nielsen or some of the Ipsoses of the world have a competitive product, or?
Yeah, it's a funny story actually. My background is I was a strategy consultant, and we were constantly feeling the need to actually understand what people do. So we went to those companies and we said to them, listen, we have a great idea. Why don't you guys do it? Because I kind of like my job as a consultant. I don't want to leave. But it was impossible for them to build a technology business as such. Currently, half of my team are, postdocs with, natural language processing and computational intelligence degrees, which is someone like Ipsos or Kantar. It's almost impossible to build that kind of workforce.
And Unilever these are like very global companies. They have revenues all over the world. I guess you also have your 1 million people distributed all over the world?
That is correct. 15 markets, I would say, are the core markets. 80% of world economy is literally happening in those 15 markets, so it's mostly condensed around there. But we are active in 150 countries around the world in the local language.
Wow. And can you share some numbers with us? Like revenues is going the tens of millions already?
Well, let's just keep that one for now.
Okay.
But I can share some other numbers. For example, one of the most interesting findings that we got recently in a US research is that, you're not going to believe this, 60% of eating and drinking behavior in the US happens triggered by a feeling of loneliness, right? It's not about like your demographics, your age, how many kids you have, which is what traditional segmentation would have suggested with traditional research, but using our natural language processing algorithms, we discovered that 60% of eating and drinking is triggered by loneliness. And that completely changes, as a brand, how you actually communicate yourself.
So you try to isolate people from the others so that they eat more?
I'll leave that to the brands.
Yeah, I guess it's a compensation, right? If you have time to spare, it's always interesting.
Absolutely.
And how did the market research sector react to you? It sounds like a super innovative way to collect data. Are you also having a white label or a B2B? Can the big market research firms use you as a data collection? Or are you saying, no, this is ours and we want to control the customer? Or can people tap into your real customer panel as well?
Absolutely. So it's an open platform. The way we see it, what Streetbees does is we have the unstructured data that sits at the bottom, right? So we constantly ask people what they do, why they do, all in open text. That data belongs to Streetbees. So what happens over time is that we are building the world's largest data repository of human behavior. On top of that, we build our NLP libraries and knowledge ontologies to make sense of that data. We call this the operating platform that belongs to Streetbees. On top of that, if you are Kantar, Ipsos, or McKinsey, you can build applications. So we open our platform to other companies, come and build their own applications. Unfortunately, at the moment, they don't have the skill sets in their teams to be able to build those applications, so we build a lot of applications ourselves, but over time, that's absolutely the idea. We open the platform, they can use our app, they can use our NLP technology and the data to build different use cases and different types of applications on top of it.
And how fast is your real consumer panel growing? You have like 1 million today, like in 5 years you want to go to 10 million, or is that the way how you also secure your position in the market and create entry barriers?
It's a very interesting question. So what's the right word? The quality of the relationship is a lot more important than quantity. When people talk to us, they talk about things like, I got bullied at work today, and I'm feeling really frustrated, and as a result of that, I'm just gonna go and eat this right now because I'm so pissed off, right? That's the depth of the sharing that we get from our community. So over time, we have the tools in our app that encourages that level of sharing, right? In terms of the quantity of people, we expect that we are going to have about 100 million users in the, let's say, next 5 to 7 years. But what really matters to our algorithms is that how open are you with us? How transparent are you in sharing what's going on in your life?
And I guess the data collection itself, I mean, we all hate questionnaires, and when we do surveys, we say it takes 20 seconds, so people do it. How do you collect your data?
Right, that's exactly how the whole idea came about. I always hated taking surveys, and as a consultant, you keep asking people that, right? And it's like, you know, no one enjoys that experience.
By the way, I did my internship after high school at Ogilvy Mather, like some research company, and we had to code questionnaires, the answers.
No longer.
Hours and hours of coding. How do you collect the data?
So it happens through what we call conversational research. When we first started Streetbees, that was the first thing we invented. Instead of asking people go A, B, C, D, let's actually chat. But it's an automated chat.
So it's AI?
It's supported by the NLP technology. It feels like a chat to you, but it's not actually really a chat, as in there's no one at the other end. But we are encouraging you to keep sharing information with us in a very open way. So no more surveys, no more questionnaires, no more coding either. Like when we actually feed thousands and thousands of different statements, our auto-encoding system can recognize the feeling in it and tag. I mean, this is really mind-blowing, guys. Like, I saw something yesterday. Someone was saying a sentence like, I lost my husband a few months ago, unfortunately, and I feel a bit strange at night. And our algorithms tag that as loneliness. Now, not even a synonym is used. This is not semantic search, right? We are talking about LDA topic clustering and training deep neural networks to be able to understand at a level that human could have understood the sentence.
Wow.
It's just a whole new generation of how we can actually understand human mind.
And what's your plan? Would you like to raise more capital? NOAH is like the conference for investors.
Absolutely. We raised our Series A. Atomico led the Series A in December, and the business has been very cash generative. So for us, it's a lot more about, we are building an operating platform, we are building a data repository, so at some point we will want to inject more capital into it. The longer term plan is that the whole world's research sits on Streetbees. So we provide the data, we provide the operating platform, and then everyone else can do research on top of that. So there will be a lot more capital raises for sure.
Fascinating.
Thank
so
you so
exciting
much, Marco.
to have you. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.